Welcome, Traveler. Necromancer is completely out of control. Bosses falling over in seconds. Hit 100, already destroyed. Infernal hordes, everything is dying on contact. The best part, no mythics needed, no crazy chaotic uniques. You hit Torment 1, you get your chaotic perk, and boom, you can already play the build. How does the gameplay loop look now, and what pieces do you need to make this work? Let's jump into a pit 90, which I'm currently speed farming for XP. The main loop is as simple as it goes. You just hold down your right mouse button to get your Soulrift running, and you can stack 10 instances of Soulrift on top of each other, which will then absolutely suck the souls out of your opponents and they just simply die. Now, how do you get even more damage? That would be by threading in a corpse explosion to stack 3 corpse explosion for that 40% bonus damage. And then you can in between throw in a blight to get that next 10% damage stack going. But most of the time, might it be Helltides, might it be Infernal Hordes, might it be the Undercity, I just do 2-3 stacks of Shadowblight because that's already enough to kill everything, and then on contact, everything falls over. For the pit, you obviously need to hold down the button for a bit more damage to then completely get them destroyed. Interesting part here, you would now think that this build is better as an area build than against bosses, but that's actually wrong because it's better against bosses than against areas. And the reason for that is quite simple, because all your Soulrift soul sucking, instead of now spreading out on multiple targets, is happening on one single target. And suddenly, he's just being absolutely soaked dry as you're just standing AFK there, stacking your Soulrifts on top of your Soulrifts on top of your Soulrifts. And just to show you the beauty in Infernal Hordes, I stack like 3 Soulrifts on top of each other, everything dies. I don't have to have the 10 stacks, right? We're going for the mossing mosses whatsoever. Then I do 1, 2, 3 Soulrifts and just walk around with 200% movement speed with the Yarun giving us the teleports in between, and pretty much everything on contact just falls over. Might it be the Lords, Fiends, the Butcher, whatever, just waltz into them and they're dead. The faster you waltz into them, the more you zoom around, the better it is. And you don't actually have to stand around, keep spamming the Soulrift to like get more and more, because the few instances you have are just more than enough. Okay, how does the whole thing work now? How does Soulrift go so absolutely bonkers? For this, we will need 1 chaotic perk. So you need to be already Torment 1, and you have slain Bartok that you get Alter the Balance. In order to get to Torment 1 and slay Bartok, I recommend the Minion Necromancer 1 to 60 version. There's a planner in the description below and a live stream link where we went from 1 to 60 in 3 hours. It's really simple. Then you get Alter the Balance, which says your core skills are now ultimate skills and your ultimate skills are core skills. Fantastic. Now we can spam Soulrift away. And it says Soulrift stacks up to 10 times. The specialty of Soulrift is every 0.25 seconds it deals shadow damage, which means we get 4 attacks per second. That's important because all our damage, our 100% damage, is coming from Shadowblight. Shadow damage infects enemies with Shadowblight, and every 8th damage instance, they get a huge chunk of VAM that can critical strike. Now let's do the math. We have 4 attacks per second. We have 10 stacks of Shadowblight. That's 40 attacks per second on the boss at the minimum, because we have other instances of shadow damage as well. Divided by 8 would mean 5 stacks of Shadowblight per second. Now, Shadowblight has a few interesting aspects. First, it would be DK, which gives you 50% more damage and can stack up to 5 times, so another 250% bonus damage. On top of the 450% bonus damage Shadowblight anyways has for stacking shadow damage tempers on your gear. And then you get the crazy one, Blighted. Consecutive hits with Shadowblight deal 70% increased damage for each hit, and that resets after 6 seconds. But it has no limits on how often it can stack. Now, with a minimum of 5 stacks of Shadowblight per second, the Blighted aspect will give us another 350% more damage per second. Because then second 2 has it to 700%, second 3 has it out on 1000%, second 4 we're sitting at 1400. You get the drift. Up to second 5 with another 1750% bonus damage with the 450, with the 250%. And that considering that we only do these 5 instances of Shadowblight and we wouldn't get more shadow damage, but that's wrong because we get more. Since we get the Erupting Chaos chaotic perk that has random chaotic bursts happen around us, and they're our highest damage type, which is shadow damage. And then you get also the crippling darkness. Darkness skills have up to a 15% chance to stun for 3 seconds and deal 50,000 shadow damage. Another shadow damage blip. And that 15% with 40 attacks per second should probably trigger every now and then. We're sitting more at 7 to 8 instances of Shadowblight per second instead of 5. And hell, we haven't even talked about weaving in that corpse explosion with the corrupting ground and the blind for more damage over time as well, for more instances of shadow damage. Ha 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 ha. And this leads to your damage getting more over time. Obviously, as soon as it's once stacked up, you're consistently zooming around and you're having a baseline of stacking happening. For example, the 250% from the aspect of decay, and then the blighted consistently restacking. So your damage is going to go up, 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 and you see that as you're going through the dungeon. Things die on impact with low HP, and then the elites are getting like billions and higher billions and higher billions and higher billions, and then they die. The real craziness comes when you're adding the Ebonpiercer amulet. 11 ranks to Reaper's Pursuit, not greater affix, it could be 15 ranks. And these 11 ranks give us 28% more damage per shadow skill in our skill bar. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shadow skills in the skill bar. If it was a greater affix and 15 ranks, it would be 38% more damage times 6. And if you could actually get that Ebonpiercer amulet as a chaotic unique, then you can move the aspect of decay over to your amulet. And now we're talking about 75% times 5 instead of 50% times 5. Another 125% bonus damage, just like that. In your skill tree, your main interest is to get as many shadow skills as possible, together with a blight giving you that 10% bonus damage and turning the corpse explosion into an actual blighted skill. We do have our Decrepify with a cooldown reduction, which we technically don't need. However, every now and then we have to use the blight or the sever to restore essence for the Soulrift. We'll get to that essence restoration in a second. Then you want all the ranks and all the shadow skills, and most important, only one rank in Soulrift. More ranks will give you some random healing potions that we really don't need. What you want to have is as many ranks and finality as possible, though, over your tempers, because that gives you crazy amounts of damage. Essence-wise, we're infinite. You can just spam the Soulrift away. Every now and then you notice how my essence pool bottoms out and then comes instantly back up. The reason for that is the Zen Quox rune combo. Cast an ultimate skill, and then you get the Quox for 100% bonus damage, making your Shadowblight every now and then go out of control. Now, our Soulrift only costs 43 essence. In order to reduce the essence cost, you just have to level up Alter the Balance. And then in order to get the essence to cast Soulrift, you simply need to go for casting an ultimate skill restores 31 essence temper, and casting an ultimate skill restores 25 essence temper. As soon as you get more than 50, you're good to go. The other things you want on your rings and on your gloves are maximum attack speed. You want all the attack speed in the world that you can stack 10 Soulrifts as fast as possible on top of each other. Another aspect we're playing is Damned, that's 50% bonus damage against cursed enemies, and Sacrificial to boost our sacrifice bonuses, plus the Soulrift duration temper. More duration means easier stacks of the Soulrift. The Sacrificial is going to boost our Book of the Dead for more shadow damage, more damage versus vulnerable enemies, and Soulrift always makes enemies vulnerable, and then the critical strike damage goes to the moon. On my helmet, I'm rocking the Decrepify aura. This could also be solved over a rune combo, but I don't have a different helmet. Air of Perdition would actually work, or the Ebonpiercer amulet as a chaotic unique. On my chest, I'm currently having the Fist of Fate. Do you need this? Absolutely not. I could clear Pit 90s without this. But the Fist of Fate gives you attack speed as a chest piece, random damage 1 to 360%, quite cute, and lucky hit chance. That more lucky hit chance allows you to then stack even more crippling darkness for more instances of shadow damage, or more Shadowblight stacks. Fantastic. My boots are as normal as they go, with a Soulrift duration temper, and then evade makes you unstoppable, metamorphosis. The bonus movement speed is unnecessary, we could get resistance to all elements. On my pants, it's currently the Godslayer crown, because I just had it lying around. Why not use it? All stats, damage to elites, cooldown reduction, it's fantastic. However, there's a better item to take, and that would be the Lidless Wall. Why the Lidless Wall? It has cooldown reduction, that's nice, but it also says in the implicit stats on the top, total armor percentage, and then plus 80% main hand weapon damage. Your pants or your boots could just give you main hand weapon damage, which is going to boost the base damage of the Shadowblight that then gets multiplied up and multiplied up and multiplied up, and yeah, you get the drift. However, none of these items are needed. The only thing you truly need is the Ebonpiercer together with the aspect of DK and the Blighted. Then you can already play this as you get Alter the Balance. You can instantly swap over to this build in Torment 1 and then simply spam Soulrift and destroy everything. As my mercs, I'm playing Rahir for the resistance and the bonus damage of 15%, and you can play Variana for even more attack speed. You really want to get your attack speed all the way up to 100%. Right now I'm at 83.1, and I can drink a Potion of Advantage for another 15%. Interestingly enough, we get the Crazy Brew Power for another 80% more attack speed. This one is on top. This is attack speed cap number 2, because it's a temporary bonus. There's attack speed cap 1 and 2. 1 is permanent bonuses, 2 is temporary bonuses. This one would bring you up to 180% damage to then spam even more Soulrift, even faster, to get the 10 stacks like crazy. In the Paragon board, your main goal is going to be many stacks on Essence. You want the 59 out of the 25 because critical strike damage is the name of the game. Your Shadowblight can crit. Then we get Scent of Death for even more critical strike damage together with the Amplify. Cursed enemies take more damage. Now on the Wither board that's here to the right side, we only need the beginning nodes and the end nodes. The nodes in the middle here don't do anything for us. Wither has a 20% chance to do randomly 300% bonus damage, and that counts for all shadow damage. Your Shadowblight, your Soulrift, anything. But the Shadowblights that actually do billions of damage already can randomly just do, well, 300% more, which is fire. With the Flash Eater board, we have another 40% bonus damage, but we need to consume corpses, and you need to look out that the Quox Rune every now and then does not deplete your mana, and then you have to use another one of your ultimate skills, Light Sever, to restore that. Here we get the Eliminator glyph for 185 intelligence bonus. Make sure to level this up as fast as possible after the essence. And then we get the Fraytail board for another 40% together with Abyssal. We do non-physical damage, only shadow damage. And it boosts the rare glyphs up here for more vulnerable and crowd-controlled enemy damage. And we always do vulnerable and crowd-controlled enemy damage. In order to take this build now to the next level, I need the Ebonpiercer amulet with the Reaper's Pursuit as chaotic armor. I would need that Lidless Wall, chaotic armor. And we can have the Shroud of the False Death together with the Air of Perdition as a helmet. You have the opportunity to really easily grind this out, but you can already clear Pit 100 with a shoddy setup like this. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Is Soul Shred Necro something for you, or would you rather go for the Druid, who's also absolutely amazing? Enjoy, take care.